So I was talking with a reader on the phone yesterday, and they started our conversation with something that I hear often in conversations like that. They said, "Chris, I gotta say, I admire your patience and enthusiasm." It made me chuckle because I know what they're really saying. It's a backhanded compliment. They're saying, "Chris, I can't believe you're still doing this after so long, despite being so unsuccessful, but maintain such a high level of enthusiasm." So it's kind of an insult in some way, but does it bother me? No, because it's true. And if the truth bothers you, it's a sign that you're not facing reality. And the reality is that it has been a long time. I forwarded my friend one of my earlier blog posts and was even surprised myself to see that I had written it 7 years ago. It has also been unsuccessful because over those past 7 years, I have yet to be invited to give a TED talk, not even a TEDx talk, and have done nothing much to make a name for myself or make a real living out of doing this. But it has been a lot of fun and enjoyable and rewarding. I wake up most days, including today, feeling great, looking forward to doing more of stuff like this that I'm doing now and just my regular day-to-day. And unbelievably, I am pretty proud of what I've accomplished over these past 7 years. Frankly, I would bet that on a day-to-day basis, I have a higher sense of well-being than many uber successful personal development gurus like Tim Ferriss, for example. So isn't that what it's all about? Well-being? So something's going right. And I've been thinking about why that is a lot, spending a lot of time on it, but not energy because I have fun thinking about it. And I think it comes down to really one thing more than anything. I prioritize energy over time. You know, time is priceless, but if you don't have energy, time isn't worth as much because the things that you enjoy won't be as enjoyable without energy, right? You know, going for travels, spending time with your kids and your family, exercising, learning, creating stuff, everything. You need energy to really get the most out of it. And as it turns out, Tim Ferriss also realized this recently in a podcast interview he did on the Invest Like the Best podcast, Invest Like the Best podcast with Patrick O'Shaughnessy, which is really good, and I recommend you listen to if you like podcasts. He says pretty much something along the same lines. I'll put the clip in here.
The most precious, non-renewable resource, I used to say, is time. I don't think it's time any longer. I think it's energy. I think you have energy fundamentally as the most important primary resource to guard. And that in turn determines the value. There's a little more to it. I'm thinking a lot about this these days, but determines the value of your time.
It also turns out that one of Tim Ferriss's readers realized this 10 years ago or more, and maybe we could have listened to him soon to make this realization sooner. Scott Adams, in his book, How to Fail at Nearly Everything and Still Win, I think it's called, he has the quote, something along the lines of saying, optimizing your life for personal energy will add up to something incredible that is more good than bad. Something incredible that is more good than bad sounds great to me, and that's what I really want to do. So I've been, again, thinking about how to do so, how to optimize my life for personal energy. And the way I see it, energy comes from 3 sources. The first is doing things you enjoy. For me, that includes playing beach volleyball, traveling, and unbelievably, maybe, making content like this. I really enjoy it. The second is looking forward to doing things. To give an example of the difference between looking forward to and not looking forward to and the effect on energy, consider the energy you get from looking forward to a fully planned, fully booked trip to Cologne, Germany. And compare that to having a planned trip to get your colonoscopy, right? One's going to give you energy as you lead up to it, and the other is going to drain energy as you dread it coming up. The third source of energy is having done things that you are proud of. I call these anti-regrets. Anti-regrets are things that you've done in your life that pay a lasting dividend, that continue to pay dividends in your life. So, for example, that could be having kids, or having learned a language, having learned another skill, gone for an exciting trip that leaves memory dividends, those sort of things. I call these the three things: activities that you enjoy, activities that you look forward to doing more of, and activities that you are proud of having done. I call these pumps. On the flip side are leaks. Leaks are activities that you dislike, that you regret, and that you dread. So it stands to reason that to optimize for energy, you want to do or fill your life with more pumps and less leaks, right? So and the real ideal, the sort of the nirvana, the supreme energy generating source is to find activities that give you all three of the types of pumps that I listed. They give you energy, you look forward to doing more of it, and you'll be glad you've done it. If you can find this sort of trifecta activity, think about it. You get energy from doing it, you look forward to doing more, and you're glad, and you think about what you've done, feeling proud and getting energy from that. So it's a virtuous cycle of energy. So the ideal is to keep on engineering your life to find leaks and repair them. Get rid of them when they pop up also, and then focus your time on all of these, ideally, trifecta pumps, right? The more pumps, the more energy. The fewer leaks, the more energy. How? How do you do this, right? If it was so easy, it doesn't sound that complicated. And if it was so easy, then everybody in the world would be this would be just Pleasantville, or just the happiest place in the world, right? The most energetic place in the world. So what's going wrong? I think it comes down to the fact that we humans are wired with faulty calorimeters. I don't know if that's the right pronunciation, but calorimeter is a device for measuring energy. And ours is glitchy. We do things like, when we're low on energy, rather than do activities that give us more energy, we feel the need or feel the urge to sit on our couch, drink a beer, and watch some dumb reality TV show. We think that getting a bunch of likes on a social media post gives us energy. It does maybe in the very short term, but in the long term, I don't think anyone's going to be lying on their deathbed thinking, oh man, I'm so proud of the fact that I got 1,000 likes on TikTok or whatever. And we don't understand well what gives us energy. We're in the future, we have a very bad ability to forecast the energy that we get from something. So we think about some upcoming social event and think, oh man, that's going to be very uncomfortable and just going to drain all my energy. But if you think about it a year later after the fact, you're like, oh, wow, I'm glad I did that and met those people and did something different. So the trick, the real challenge is fixing this calorimeter. And the way to do so, the most effective way that I've come up with is one that I've stumbled into. And it's pretty straightforward. You keep track of what you do. Because if you keep track of what you do, your activities that you've done, plink plonk through your broken calorimeter in your brain. And then a week later, a month later, a year later, then you review them. Then you can review them with less emotion, less bias, and more objectivity. And you can say, hey, did this activity add energy? Was it a pump? Or did it remove energy? Was it a leak? And that distance and that perspective, that broader perspective, can help you get a better idea of what truly is a pump and what truly is a leak. And you use that information to guide your plan for the future. Do more pumps, fewer leaks. It's a very slow, iterative process. But if you keep it up, you keep on increasing your pumps, reducing your leaks, and having more and more energy in your life. And you're optimizing for energy, which ostensibly will add up to doing incredible things that are more good than bad. And I think it works because of what I call, or what I'll try to call, the immutable law of personal energy. That the closer you get to your core self, the more energy you release. It's pretty much physics, right? You get to that core nucleus of yourself, and it's like nuclear energy. You just release energy. And by optimizing for pumps and removing leaks, that's exactly what you're doing. Because anything that's not true to yourself leaks energy. Anything that is true to yourself pumps you with energy. And we are conditioned by our culture, society, to not want to be ourselves. We feel this pressure also from evolution to raise up in status rather than be worried about our own status relative to ourselves, and how our future selves will look back on ourselves and how we look in ourselves currently, right? Our self-esteem. And if we can optimize for that, for our true core self, we will just radiate with energy. And when you radiate with energy, not only is it great for you, but it's contagious, because people will see it and say, wow, look at that guy, look at that girl, look at that dog that is so full of energy. I want to be like that. What are they doing? They're just so being true to themselves. I can just tell it. You can tell people that are being true to themselves. And that's my goal. And I really think that by engineering from my life for energy, by keeping a track of what I do, adding pumps, removing leaks is getting me there. And I feel like I'm making progress. And I feel like I'm actually close to a breakthrough. So I hope that within fewer than 7 more years, I'll be having another conversation with a reader similar to the one I had yesterday. And rather than saying, hey, Chris, I admire your patience and enthusiasm, they'll say, Chris, I'm inspired and energized by what you've done.